My name is Arthinox, and this is Cloaked Mysteries, the place where the real and the impossible meet. Today I will take you across seas that, while mesmerizing in beauty, hide secrets capable of freezing the heart of any sailor. Imagine embarking on a journey where every wave may reveal a story of survival, tragedy, or an unresolved mystery. Prepare yourself, the ocean has never been just water and horizon. It is an abyss of secrets, and now you will face them with me. The enigma of the Sargasso Sea. In the heart of the North Atlantic lies a sea that defies all known logic. Unlike any other, the Sargasso Sea has no shores, no islands, no visible boundaries. It is an endless expanse of golden seaweed, a living carpet stretching as far as the eye can see. Since the time of the great explorations, sailors feared this place, watching their ships trapped as if by an invisible snare. Christopher Columbus was one of the first to describe its strangeness in 1492. His ships became entangled in the weeds, moving forward with difficulty, as if they were being slowly swallowed by a breathing ocean. For his crew, every hour felt like an eternity. It was as if they were navigating a living sea, under the gaze of something unseen. The fear of never escaping that labyrinth began to consume the men. Beyond the seaweed, the Sargasso is a domain of treacherous currents. Unpredictable winds shift without warning, spinning ships out of control. For unprepared sailors, days can pass without the horizon changing, deepening the feeling of stagnation and despair. Many accounts describe the sepulchral silence of the region, broken only by the creak of masts and the pounding of terrified hearts. And these are not just ancient tales. Even today, sailors and scientists report unsettling experiences, strange currents dragging ships against their will, compasses spinning erratically, and the suffocating sense of being watched. Many call this sea the cradle of naval ghosts, where phantom ships, adrift and crewless, glide silently among the seaweed. Some say the Sargasso is a true graveyard of forgotten vessels. In its waters, wrecks rest intact, preserved by the still currents. Bodies were never recovered, and legends speak of ghost ships that appear and vanish within its golden haze. To some, it is a gateway to hidden dimensions, a place where the ocean guards secrets that may never be revealed. What is fact and what is legend merge in this enigmatic sea? Scientists study it as a natural phenomenon, but sailors revere it as a sacred territory where every wave may carry a lost soul. The Sargasso Sea is not just a point on the map, it is a boundary between reason and the unexplainable. And every man who dares to cross it knows he may be stepping into a mystery with no return. The graveyard of the Java Sea. In the heart of the Asian Pacific lies a sea that holds stories of blood, tragedy, and survival in its depths. The Java Sea is called by many the graveyard of the East, a place where treacherous currents and violent storms swallowed entire fleets. Over the centuries, countless vessels vanished into its murky waters, leaving behind only fragments of stories and echoes of screams that never reached the shore. Among its most legendary shipwrecks is that of the Batavia, a Dutch ship from the 17th century. In 1629, carrying hundreds of passengers and treasures, it struck deadly reefs. But the wreck was only the beginning of a nightmare. Survivors were dragged into a tale of betrayal, mutiny, and murder, turning that voyage into one of the darkest chapters in maritime history. The ocean did not only claim lives, it revealed the savage depths of the human soul. To this day, divers still find remnants of that grim past. Rusted cannons, corroded coins, skeletal remains among reefs. Each artifact whispers a silent but heavy story, as though the sea itself jealously guards its secrets. Some claim that touching those relics brings a wave of dread, as if the fear and pain of the past still haunt the water. But the danger is not confined to history. The Java Sea remains treacherous today. Rogue waves rise suddenly, reaching up to 30 feet, toppling unprepared ships. Invisible currents drag vessels off course, trapping them in deadly spirals. For seasoned navigators, crossing these waters demands absolute precision because a single mistake can mean death. Modern disappearances also fuel its reputation. Fishing boats that never returned, cargo ships that vanished without a trace, radio signals cut off abruptly. To many, The Java Sea is not just dangerous water, it is a living force that chooses who will pass and who will be claimed forever. What is certain is that generation after generation, this sea continues to demand lives and spread mystery. The Java Sea is a cruel reminder that the ocean does not obey man, and that any captain who dares to cross it must face not only the power of nature, but also the ghosts of the past still echoing in its depths. The Caribbean Sea. When we think of the Caribbean, visions of white sand beaches, turquoise waters, and paradise come to mind. But beneath that beauty lies a sea scarred by violence, betrayal, and fear. For centuries, the Caribbean was a stage of naval battles, mysterious wrecks, and the ruthless age of piracy that spread terror with every rising wave. Between the 16th and 18th centuries, these waters were ruled by corsairs and pirates who plundered merchant ships, stealing both treasure and lives. Tales of Spanish galleons heavy with gold and silver became legend, like the Nuestra Señora de Atacha, which sank in 1622 with tons of riches aboard. Even now, fragments of that ship are still discovered, as if the sea itself insists on remembering the tragedy. But danger came not only from pirates. The sea itself betrayed sailors with sudden tropical storms, capable of capsizing ships within minutes. Accounts speak of skies darkening without warning and waves so massive they devoured entire masts. For many, the Caribbean's beauty was a trap, luring the innocent into a deadly snare. Modern divers still chase treasures hidden beneath its waters. Yet many never return. The Caribbean holds not only gold and silver, but also powerful currents and unseen whirlpools that drag divers into the depths. Here, human ambition is tested against the untamable force of nature. Even today, accidents continue. Tourists and sailors, enchanted by its charm, underestimate the danger. Each wave may conceal a lethal current, and each reef may turn into a fatal ambush. The Caribbean is at once paradise and abyss, where the line between life and death is thinner than sea foam. In the end, the Caribbean remains a symbol of both fascination and dread. It is the sea of adventure tales, pirate romances, and treasure legends, but also of forgotten tragedies, missing bodies, and silent wrecks. A sea that, despite its allure, never ceased to be perilous. The Tasman Sea. Between Australia and New Zealand lies a body of water infamous among sailors, the Cemetery of the Pacific. The Tasman Sea is one of the most feared routes in the world, marked by violent winds, unpredictable currents, and monstrous waves that rise without warning. Over the centuries, more than 1,000 ships have vanished here, leaving behind wreckage, cries carried by the wind, and stories of sheer terror. Historical accounts speak of sailors clinging to fragments of wood, watching helplessly as their vessels were swallowed by the waves. The collision of Pacific and Indian Ocean currents creates pure chaos, turning the crossing into a deadly game against nature's wrath. For many captains, venturing into the Tasman was like signing a pact with death. One of the most feared phenomena in this sea are the rogue waves. Sudden giants, capable of reaching over 60 feet, erupt without notice and obliterate everything in their path. Reports tell of entire ships consumed in seconds, leaving no chance of escape. To sailors, facing such a wave was like staring into the face of an angry god. Even in modern times, with advanced technology, the Tasman Sea continues to test humanity. In 1998, during the Sydney to Hobart yacht race, a sudden storm killed 6 crew members and sank several boats. This tragedy proved that even with satellites and maps, the sea retains the power to surprise and destroy. Survivors often describe crossing these waters as entering a liquid prison. The wind howls endlessly, the waves feel alive, and the night's darkness magnifies every fear. Some even claim the sea speaks, its storms producing eerie sounds like voices in the chaos, fueling legends that the Tasman is cursed. Ultimately, the Tasman Sea is more than a passage between lands. It is a brutal reminder that mankind will never truly conquer the ocean. For some, it is merely a point on the map. But for those who have faced its fury and survived, it is a nightmare etched forever into Memoria Testament that nature always has the final word. The Sea of Okhotsk. In the far north of Japan and east of Russia lies the Sea of Okhotsk, one of the most hostile environments on Earth. This sea is a merciless test of endurance, known for trapping ships within its massive floating ice fields. In winter, it becomes a deadly battlefield where bitter cold and thick fog make navigation nearly impossible. For many sailors, entering Okhotsk is like stepping into a corridor with no exit. In the 19th century, several Russian expeditions attempted to conquer these waters in search of routes and riches. Many never returned. Ships became locked in ice, condemning their crews to desperate survival. Men wandered for days in the darkness and cutting cold, their bodies slowly devoured by frostbite. Survivors later said the silence was so deep they could hear the sound of death approaching. The winds are just as dangerous. Shifting without warning, they smash ships against ice blocks, crushing hulls like paper. Dense fog reduces visibility to mere yards, turning every voyage into Russian roulette. For those who venture in, every minute in Okhotsk is a struggle against the unknown. Even today, with advanced technology, Okhotsk remains dreaded. Scientists and fishermen report extreme difficulties. Global warming has not eased the threat, it has created new ones. Ice forms and breaks unpredictably, creating invisible traps that can imprison vessels for weeks. The rules have changed, but the sea's cruelty endures. Disappearances continue. Fishing boats vanish without a trace, only for wreckage to resurface months later, carried by frozen currents. Some believe Okhotsk hides more than Storm's invisible force that watches, selects, and consumes. Locals call it the sea that breathes cold, a living entity feeding on human weakness. In the end, the Sea of Okhotsk reminds us that northern nature is unforgiving. It is a keeper of frozen secrets, of untold stories of courage and despair. Those who dare to face it must understand the true enemy here is not just the climatite, is the sea itself, choosing who will live and who will remain forever beneath its icy waters. The Red Sea is one of the most fascinating bodies of water on Earth, famous for its turquoise waters, vibrant coral reefs, and millennia of history. According to biblical tradition, it was here that Moses led his people across the parted waters. But behind the beauty and the sacred symbolism lies a sea filled with deadly traps. The Red Sea is the perfect paradox, divine and fatal, paradise and hell. One of its greatest dangers is its coral reefs. Beautiful at first glance, they form hidden walls that have destroyed countless ships. Many vessels have struck these invisible barriers, splitting apart and vanishing within minutes. To navigators, every reef is a silent enemy, turning a journey into tragedy. Another lethal point is the infamous Blue Hole, near the Sinai Peninsula. From above, it looks like a breathtaking natural pool, luring divers from across the globe. But beneath lies a tunnel over 400 feet deep, an abyss that deceives even the most skilled. More than 150 divers have lost their lives there, earning it the name the Divers' Cemetery. The Red Sea is also home to whirlpools and unpredictable currents. Many accounts tell of ships dragged down suddenly, as if by invisible hands. This has fueled legends of ancient spirits guarding the sea's secrets, unseen sentinels waiting below. Even with modern technology, the danger remains. Tourists, divers, and sailors often underestimate it, enchanted by its beauty. Yet a single careless moment can turn a voyage into disaster. The line between wonder and death here is as thin as sea foam. The Red Sea is a paradoxical realm, the place of sacred stories, dazzling reefs, and warm, inviting waters, but also the site of silent tragedies where beauty kills. Those who enter must remember not every shimmer signals life, sometimes it is the reflection of death. The Greenland Sea. The Greenland Sea is a land of extremes, where icy beauty merges with merciless danger. Its crystal waters cradle towering icebergs drifting like frozen fortresses, yet they conceal deadly currents that drag ships to ruin. For sailors, crossing these waters is not merely a voyage, it is a relentless struggle against cold, wind, and the unknown. In the 20th century, many expeditions vanished without a trace. Some were swallowed by sudden storms, others crushed by drifting ice. Families waiting ashore were left only with rumors and silence. Greenland's white mantle takes everything and gives nothing back. Here, the cold is the invisible enemy. Even with proper clothing, the biting wind pierces through protection, draining body heat in minutes. Hypothermia and frostbite are common ends for those who dared to challenge the sea. Survivors speak of the ice whispering, as if the sea itself had a voice. The giant waves are another constant menace. Fed by polar winds, they rise to colossal heights, sweeping away ships like toys. Even modern vessels have succumbed to this brutal power. It is proof that human technology remains fragile against the fury of the sea. Even with advanced monitoring, disasters persist. Ice breaks away without warning, storms form from nothing, and the polar night plunges everything into endless darkness. Every voyage through the Greenland Sea is a frozen gamble, where the smallest mistake may be fatal. In the end, the Greenland Sea remains a symbol of Arctic power. It is a domain that demands absolute respect, where nature rules without question. Those who enter must face not only the lethal cold, but also the mysteries buried in its silent, frozen depths. The Gulf of Guinea. Off the west coast of Africa lies the Gulf of Guinea, known not only for its commercial importance but also as one of the most dangerous seas in the world. Unlike other seas scarred by storms or ice, here the greatest danger is not nature, it is man. Piracy, kidnappings, and violence have turned the sea into an invisible battlefield, where every ship is a potential target. More than 100 vessels cross these waters daily, transporting oil, minerals, and precious cargo. That wealth attracts organized pirate groups who strike without warning, hijacking crews and demanding ransoms. For many sailors, navigating the Gulf means living in constant tension, as if calm waters could erupt into chaos at any moment. Survivors tell chilling stories of lightning-fast raids. Armed men appear from nowhere in small boats, scaling hulls and seizing control in minutes. The silence of the sea shatters into screams, gunfire, and terror. In many cases, entire crews vanish, adding to the Gulf's grim reputation. Even military escorts have failed to end the menace. Each year, patrols shift routes, but pirates adapt, finding new ways to outsmart security. For sailors, the fear lies not in the waves but in unseen eyes watching from the horizon, waiting for the perfect moment to attack. The Gulf of Guinea carries an aura of unease. Many believe it is cursed, burdened by centuries of slavery, war, and violence. That heavy past lingers, as though the sea itself absorbed the pain of millions torn from their homeland. In the end, the Gulf of Guinea is proof that not all maritime dangers are natural. Here, the threat is human-born of greed, ambition, and cruelty. To sail these waters is to challenge not just the sea's instability, but the darkness within mankind itself. Each of the seas we explored holds more than restless waters and endless horizons. They are gateways to stories of courage and tragedy, silent witnesses to mankind's fragility before the vastness of the ocean. In every wave there is a memory, in every wreck a warning, and in every gust of wind a whisper that cannot be explained by science alone. These seas remind us that the ocean is not just scenery, it is entity. It breathes, it watches, it guards secrets never meant to be fully revealed. From the ghostly Sargasso to the lethal Bering, the ocean mirrors life itself, beautiful, cruel, unpredictable, and filled with mystery. And as centuries pass, new stories still emerge. Boats vanish without a trace, voices are heard in the fog, and unknown creatures stir beneath the surface. The seas prove time and again that humanity will never fully control them. We only cross their waters, and if we are fortunate, we return to tell the tale. But in the end, the question remains: how many secrets still rest at the bottom of these seas? How many truths remain hidden beneath their silence? Perhaps we will never know. Perhaps the ocean reveals only fragments enough to inspire awe and fear in every generation daring to challenge it. If this journey held you captive, like the ocean itself, give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell. Here on Cloaked Mysteries, every week we dive into stories that defy reason and remind us that truth is always veiled in mystery. And now I ask you, which of these seas would you dare to face? Leave your answer in the comments because it may reveal more about you than you imagine. Until the next voyage, explorer of shadows, and remember, the ocean never forgets.